Sleep in the maid's room. Her voice hit the living room like a slap. I was holding the key to my own house, the same key I'd held for 32 years. My fingers turned white around the metal. Cold sweat gathered in my palm. Karen was standing at the entrance to the dining room, arms crossed, looking at me like I was some intruder, a stranger. She was wearing the blue dress I'd seen in the shopping bag last week. $400. I hadn't said anything at the time. "It's my house now, mother-in-law. You sleep there." My house, $500,000. Every single brick, every faucet, every light bulb paid for with my work and the life insurance money from my late husband. And she was sending me to the room in the back. I looked toward the hallway door. The little room was down there, about 30 square feet, no window. I used to keep brooms in there. I took a deep breath. What Karen didn't know was simple. She had just made the biggest mistake of her life. I built this house brick by brick, literally. When my husband died 12 years ago, I was 49 and left with a life insurance payout of around $200,000. Everyone told me to invest it, to save it, to be careful. But I bought this lot in Brookdale Heights, hired an architect, and said, I want a house where I can breathe, where I can grow old in peace. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, an open concept kitchen with an island, light wood floors throughout, a porch overlooking the hills. I spent about $150,000 on construction. The rest I invested. Today the house is worth at least $500,000, probably more. This house was my fortress, my refuge, the place where I'd grow old surrounded by good memories, you know? Where my son Ryan would come visit with the grandkids I didn't have yet. Where we'd have Sunday lunches and I'd teach them old family recipes, and life would just follow its natural course. That's what I imagined. But life doesn't really care about our plans. Ryan brought Karen home 6 months ago. He was 35, she was 31. They'd gotten married way too fast. I knew it, but I said nothing. Mothers learn to bite their tongues. Ryan worked in consulting, traveling 2, sometimes 3 weeks a month. Karen didn't work. She'd graduated in marketing but had never actually used her degree. Said she was waiting for the right opportunity. At first, I thought it was temporary. Ryan asked me, "Mom, we're saving up to get our own place. Just a few months, okay?" And of course I said yes. He's my son. But a few months turned into half a year, and somewhere along the way, something changed. Karen started rearranging the furniture. Then she started deciding what we'd have for dinner. Then she began inviting her friends over as if she owned the place. I was slowly being pushed aside, gently, like a rising tide. You don't notice it until the water's at your neck. I still had my bedroom, of course, still had my space, but the house no longer felt like mine. It felt like hers. Karen spoke loudly, made every decision, took charge of everything. And Ryan? Ryan was always traveling, always tired, always asking me to be patient with Karen, to give her time to adjust. Today was her birthday, 32. She'd invited 3 friends for dinner. I was supposed to cook. I was supposed to serve. Karen made that perfectly clear this morning. "Mother-in-law, make that risotto of yours, okay? And keep an eye on the table. The girls are picky." The girls. As if I were the help, as if this house weren't mine. And now she was telling me to sleep in the maid's room, in my own house. Her friends arrived at 7 that evening. Tasha came first, a tall brunette in thin heels and a designer bag. Then came Claire and Rachel, all dressed as if for a gala, not a Thursday night dinner party. They walked in laughing loudly, tossing their purses on the sofa, and Karen greeted each one with over-the-top kisses and squeals. I was in the kitchen finishing the risotto. The smell of white wine and saffron filled the air. I stirred slowly, trying not to listen, but their voices carried through the walls. "Girl, this house is a dream," I heard Tasha say. "You remodeled everything, right, Kay?" Kay? That's what she called her. Kay. Karen replied in that sweet fake tone she used when she wanted to impress. "Oh, there's still a lot to do, but we'll get there. Ryan gives me free rein." Free rein. In my house. I tightened my grip on the wooden spoon. Claire asked if there was a pool, and Karen said no, but that they were thinking of adding one. Thinking. As if the decision were hers alone. As if I didn't exist. I waited another 10 minutes until the risotto was ready. I poured it into a large white porcelain dish, the one I'd gotten as a wedding gift, and carried it to the dining room. The table was set. Karen had used my beige linen tablecloth, my crystal glasses that I kept for special occasions, and the candles I'd bought last year in Aspen. All mine. All being used as if they were hers. I placed the dish in the center of the table and stood there, waiting. Karen glanced at me, gave a quick smile, and said, "Thanks, mother-in-law. You can bring the salad now." It wasn't a request. It was an order. I went back to the kitchen. When I brought the salad bowl, they were already seated. Tasha said the risotto looked amazing, and Karen replied, "It's my mother-in-law's recipe. She's a great cook. What can you do?" Like it was a chore, like it was just my role there. I set the salad down and was about to sit when Karen said, casually, not even looking at me, "Oh, mother-in-law, we're just gonna chat and gossip, you know how it is. You don't have to stay, you can eat in the kitchen. Be more comfortable." Silence. Heavy, awkward silence. Tasha looked away. Claire gave a nervous chuckle. Rachel grabbed her phone. And me? My face burned. That familiar knot rose in my throat, the kind that makes you want to scream. But all I said was, "All right." And I went back to the kitchen. I ate alone, sitting on the stool by the island, plate on my lap. I could hear them laughing outside. I could hear Karen telling some funny story, doing impressions, her friends laughing loudly. At one point, Tasha asked where their belated honeymoon would be, and Karen said they were thinking about Cancun, but that it depended on getting things settled here at home. Settled things. I washed my plate, dried it, put it away. I just stood there in the kitchen, looking out into the dark through the window, thinking, how did I let it get this far? They stayed at the table until almost midnight. I waited, didn't go to bed, just kept cleaning slowly, listening. At one point, I heard Karen say, "Girls, you won't believe it. I'm gonna do a remodel here. I'll turn one of the rooms into a walk-in closet. That front room, you know? It's big, gets great light, it'll be perfect." The front room. My room. Tasha asked, "And your mother-in-law?" Karen laughed. "Oh, she doesn't need that much space. The house is big. She'll manage." She'll manage. Like I was furniture. Like I didn't matter. When they finally left, it was past 12:30. I heard the front door close, heard Karen lock it, heard her steps coming back into the living room. I took a deep breath, left the kitchen. She was putting the crystal glasses away, back turned to me. I said, my voice steadier than I expected, "Karen, we need to talk." She turned, bored expression on her face. "About what, mother-in-law?" I said, "About this house, about my space here, about respect." She gave a crooked smile. "Respect? You live here for free, mother-in-law?" "Free. Ryan pays for everything, the bills, the water, everything. And you want to talk about respect?" My heart dropped. "For free? Karen, this house is mine. She cut me off. "Was yours. Now it's ours. And if you don't like it, there's the maid's room in the back. You can sleep there, no problem." I looked at her. Really looked. And I saw she wasn't joking. That's when I took the key to the maid's room from the kitchen drawer. I went there. 30 square feet. Smelled of mold and cleaning products. A twin bed against the wall. No window. Dim light from an old bulb. I sat on the edge of the bed, and right there, in that tiny hole of a room, I made my decision. I didn't sleep. I sat on that narrow bed, staring at the peeling wall until my eyes burned. The house was silent. Karen was sleeping in my room on my orthopedic mattress under my down comforter. I could hear the faint hum of the fridge far away. The smell of cleaning products clung to my clothes. It was 1 a.m. when I picked up my phone. My hand trembled slightly as I unlocked the screen. I scrolled through my contacts and found his name, Julian, lawyer, friend of 30 years. The person I should have called months ago, but I kept waiting, hoping things would get better on their own. That Ryan would notice, that Karen would calm down, that I wouldn't have to get to this point. But I had. So I called. It rang 3 times before he answered, voice rough with sleep. "Marlene? What time is it?" I whispered, because I didn't want anyone to hear. "Julian, I'm sorry for calling so late, but I need to do this. Tomorrow, I can't take it anymore." Silence on the other end. Then he said, more awake now, "Are you sure? Because once we do this, Marlene, there's no turning back. You understand?" I closed my eyes, took a deep breath. "I'm sure." I heard him sigh. "All right, I've got everything ready. The documents are in my office safe. Let's meet tomorrow, 10 a.m. Can you get out of the house?" I said yes. He asked if Ryan would be there. I said no. He'd flown to Chicago that morning, wouldn't be back until late afternoon. Julian said, "Perfect. Then here's the plan. You come in, sign everything, and I'll have the court officer deliver the notice at 2 p.m., straight to your house, right in front of her." In front of her. I felt a shiver. "And if it goes wrong?" Julian answered firmly, "It won't. The house is yours. Always has been. You have every document, deed, receipts, everything in your name. She has no rights. And Ryan? He signed that promissory note, Marlene. The one for $60,000 he borrowed and never paid back. That's debt, officially registered. We've got him too. $60,000. I'd lent it to my son 8 months ago. He said it was for an investment, that he'd double the money and pay me back in 3 months. I believed him. Of course I did. He's my son. But the investment failed. The money vanished, and he never mentioned it again. When I asked, he'd say he was sorting it out, that he'd take care of it soon. But he never did. And I'd kept the promissory note he signed, hidden in my bedside drawer in a plastic folder, waiting for him to do the right thing. But he didn't. Julian kept talking about deadlines and procedures, but I barely listened. My mind was elsewhere, calculating. 10 a.m., I'd be at his office, sign the papers. The court officer would leave by noon, maybe 12:30, arrive at my house by 2. Karen would receive the notice. Karen would read. Karen would understand it was over. Less than 12 hours. That's all it would take. Less than 12 hours for my life to change again. To take back what was mine, or lose it forever. I hung up, sat there in the dark, holding the phone, feeling my heartbeat pounding in my chest. I could back out, wake up in the morning, make coffee, pretend nothing had happened, swallow another day, and another, until I disappeared completely. Or I could do what needed to be done. I looked at the clock on the phone screen. 1:43 a.m., 8 hours and 17 minutes until the meeting. I closed my eyes and waited for the sun to rise. I left the maid's room at 6:30 in the morning, took a shower in the service bathroom, got dressed, put on light lipstick, looked in the mirror. Deep, dark circles under my eyes, but they were steady now. I wasn't shaking anymore. Something had shifted overnight. Maybe hitting rock bottom does that to you. You stop fearing the fall because you've already fallen. I grabbed my purse, my wallet, my car keys, left through the kitchen door quietly. Karen was still asleep. The house was silent, peaceful even. I reached Julian's office at 9:40. It was in a commercial building downtown, 12th floor, window overlooking the main avenue. His secretary greeted me with coffee and led me straight to his office. Julian was standing, organizing papers in a thick folder on his desk. When he saw me, he gave a tired smile and said, "Did you sleep?" I said no. He said, "Neither did I." We hugged. A quick hug, the kind between people who've known each other long enough not to need words. Julian had me sit in the leather chair across from him. He placed the folder in front of me, opened it slowly, and there, in that office that smelled of coffee and paper, I saw everything neatly arranged, everything I needed to take my life back. Julian pulled out the first document. The house deed. He pointed to my name. Marlene Foster, sole owner, purchase registered on July 23, 2013. Land purchase price, $55,000. Construction investment, $165,000. Total, $220,000. Current appraisal, at least $500,000, probably more. You never transferred anything to Ryan, never donated, never sold. The house is yours, 100% yours. I took the paper, read it, reread it. It felt unreal to see it there, black and white, stamped and signed. I knew the house was mine, of course, but seeing it official like that gave me a strength I hadn't felt in months. Julian continued, pulled another document. Second, utilities, electricity, water, property tax, maintenance, all in your name, all paid by you. I pulled the last 12 months. Here. He turned the folder toward me, a spreadsheet with all the receipts. Every month, electricity between $70 and $100, water around $30, property tax about $500 per quarter. No HOA because it's a detached home, but every single thing came from your account. You paid it all. I looked at Julian. But she said Ryan pays for everything. She said I live here for free. Julian shook his head. She lied. Or she doesn't know. Or she's so deep in her fantasy she believes it. But the facts are clear. You pay for everything. Ryan pays for nothing. He's not even officially living there. His registered address is still the apartment he rented before he got married. Karen doesn't have anything in her name either. No proof of residence. Nothing. She's a guest, Marlene. A guest in your house. Guest. The word hung in the air. Julian pulled out one more document. I knew this one well. A promissory note. $60,000. Date. February 28th. Ryan's signature at the bottom. Notarized. I remembered the day. He'd come to me, nervous, saying he had a business opportunity, that a partner had a contact, that it was a safe investment, guaranteed return. 3 months, Mom. In 3 months, I'll pay you back with interest. I believed him. I wired the money. He signed the note as collateral, but I never imagined I'd need to use it. I thought he'd keep his word. Julian tapped the paper. Note overdue by 5 months. No payment. No attempt to renegotiate. Ryan hasn't approached you. You haven't filed suit yet, but you can. The debt exists. It's formalized, and it's enforceable. Enforceable. The word tightened my chest. Julian, I don't want to destroy my son. He gave me that seasoned lawyer look, tired but understanding. Marlene, you're not destroying anyone. You're asking for what's yours. And look, you don't actually have to enforce it. But the leverage is real, and that changes everything in a negotiation. Negotiation. Julian opened another folder, pulled out 2 fresh documents. I prepared 2 things. First, an eviction notice for Karen. She has 72 hours to leave. If she doesn't, we file for a writ of possession. It's quick, clean, and you're right. Second, a demand letter for Ryan. $60,000 plus interest and adjustments. Comes to about $68,000 today. We can offer a payment plan on terms you set. Or he pays, or we enforce. He placed a pen in front of me. If you sign both now, I'll have the court officer leave by noon. He'll be at your house at 2 p.m. He'll deliver everything, in person, into her hand. And that's that. From that moment, the clock starts. 72 hours, 3 days. Either she leaves or the police will. I looked at the papers. My hand was sweating. My heart raced. I thought about Ryan, my boy I raised alone after his father died. The man he became. The man who borrowed $60,000 and vanished. The man who let his wife humiliate me in my own home and did nothing. I thought about Karen, with that sneer, ordering me to the maid's room. I thought about myself, who I was before, who I had become, and who I could still be. I picked up the pen. Where do I sign? Julian turned the documents toward me, pointing at the lines. Here, here, and here. I signed 3 times. My name there, shaky cursive, but steady. Marlene Foster. Julian took the papers, checked the signatures, stamped them, dated them. Done. Now it's official. I'll call the court officer right now. He'll head out within an hour max. 2 p.m. He'll be at your door. He looked at me seriously. Are you sure you want to be there when he arrives? I thought about running, about letting Karen face it alone, about avoiding the scene. But then I remembered last night, the little room, the smell of mold, the humiliation. And I said, I'll be there. I need to see her face. Julian nodded. Then go home, stay calm. Don't argue, don't engage. Let the officer do his job. He'll deliver the documents, explain the timeline. That's it. You don't have to say another word. I stood, grabbed my purse, thanked him. Julian walked me to the door. Before I left, he held my arm. Marlene, you're doing the right thing. Hear me? The right thing. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for this. I hugged him again. Left. I drove home slowly. It was 11:15 when I walked through the front door. Karen was in the living room in a robe, scrolling on her phone. She glanced up, saw me, and asked, disinterested, "Where'd you go?" I said, calm. Handled a few things. She shrugged. Went back to her phone. I went to my bedroom. To the room that had once been mine. I sat on the bed, checked the clock, 12:05. The court officer had probably left Julian's office by then. Less than 2 hours. I took a long breath and waited. At 1:45 p.m., I was sitting on the back porch. I'd brought a glass of iced water but didn't drink it, just held it. I listened to the sounds of the house. Karen had turned on the TV in the living room. Some gossip show, canned laughter. She was on the couch, eating popcorn, as if nothing had happened. As if last night she hadn't told me to sleep in a 30-square-foot room. I checked my phone. 1:47, 1:48, each minute was an eternity. At 1:53, I heard a car stop out front. My heart jumped. I stood, moved to the living room window quietly. A white car. 2 men got out. One carried a leather briefcase. The other, older, wore a gray suit. Julian had come along. He hadn't said he would, but there he was. I took a breath. Karen hadn't noticed a thing yet. Her back was to the window, eyes on the TV, shoveling handfuls of popcorn into her mouth. The doorbell rang. Karen turned her head, annoyed. Who shows up at this time? She didn't move, waited. The bell rang again. She huffed, paused the TV, and got up. I stood by the window, watching everything. Karen opened the door, came face to face with the 2 men. The younger one, the court officer, spoke firmly, politely. Good afternoon. Are you Karen? She frowned. I am. Who are you? He showed a credential. Court officer, I have a notice for you. Karen laughed. A mocking, dismissive laugh. A notice? A notice for what? The officer opened the briefcase, pulled out a large sealed envelope. Eviction notice and a demand letter for Mr. Ryan, your husband. He held out the envelope. Karen didn't take it. She stared at it like it was poison. Eviction? Are you insane? This house belongs to my husband. The officer kept his hand out, steady. No, ma'am. This house belongs to Mrs. Marlene Foster. It's all here. Deed, records, proof. I need you to sign for receipt." That's when Julian stepped forward. Karen looked at him, recognized him. "You? What are you doing here?" Julian opened the folder he was holding. "I represent Mrs. Marlene. I'm here to ensure the process is done properly." Karen went pale. I watched the color drain from her face. She looked at the envelope, at Julian, at the officer. "This is ridiculous. This house is Ryan's. My mother-in-law lives here out of charity. Everybody knows that." Julian shook his head. "No, Karen, everybody doesn't know, because it isn't true. The house belongs to Marlene. It always has. Here's the deed." He pulled out a copy and showed it. Owner's name, Marlene Foster. Purchase date, July 23, 2013. No other names on the title. Not Ryan, not you, your guests, and as of now, unwanted guests. Karen took the copy, read it. Her hands started to shake. She read it again and again, as if reading it more times would change anything. She looked at me. It was the first time she saw me there, standing by the window. Our eyes met. I didn't look away. I held her gaze. She said, voice rising, almost a scream, "You did this? You?" I stepped forward. My voice came out calm, steady. "I did, because this is my house, Karen. I built it, on my own, with the life insurance from my late husband. I paid for every brick, every faucet, every bulb, and you treated me like garbage. Humiliated me, sent me to sleep in the maid's room, in my own home." Karen tried to speak, but Julian cut in. "There's more. Ryan owes Marlene $60,000. A loan recorded in a promissory note, overdue by 5 months. No payment made. Here's the second notice." The officer pulled out another envelope. "Debt collection, $68,000 with interest and adjustments. Mr. Ryan has 90 days to pay or negotiate, otherwise enforcement proceedings." He extended the envelope. Karen didn't take it. She was frozen. The officer set both envelopes on the entryway console. "Notices delivered. You have 72 hours to vacate the premises. If you do not comply, a writ of possession will issue with police assistance." That's when I heard another car pull up. I looked out the window. A red car. I knew it. Tasha. Karen's friend who'd been here last night. She got out and came to the door, saw the scene, the court officer, Julian. Karen holding papers. Tasha stopped on the threshold. "Kay, what's going on?" Karen turned to her, eyes red. "She's kicking me out, Tash. My mother-in-law is kicking me out of my house." Tasha looked confused. "What do you mean, kicking you out?" Julian spoke politely. "The house belongs to Mrs. Marlene. It always has. Miss Karen has been served with an eviction notice. She has 3 days to leave." Tasha looked at me, looked at Karen, looked at the papers. She'd been here last night. She'd heard Karen say she'd turn my bedroom into a walk-in closet. She'd laughed when Karen told me to eat in the kitchen. And now she was here, witnessing the fall, witnessing the truth. Karen turned to me, desperate now. "Marlene, we can talk. Please, I didn't know. I thought—" I raised my hand, cut her off. You knew this house wasn't yours. You knew I'd lived here for 12 years. You knew I paid for everything. And even knowing, you treated me like the help. Humiliated me in front of your friends, sent me to the back room." The silence that followed was heavy. Tasha looked away. Julian closed his folder. The court officer waited, arms crossed. Karen tried once more. "But Ryan, we have nowhere to go. I don't have money. I don't work. You're going to throw me out on the street?" My chest tightened. For a second, just a second, I considered backing down, saying fine, she could stay, we'd figure something else out. But then I remembered. I remembered the little room, the laughter, her saying she'll manage when her friends asked about me, and I said, "You have 3 days. That's more than you gave me last night. Julian turned to me. Marlene, service is complete. My work here is done. Do you want me to stay? I shook my head. No need. Thank you, Julian. He nodded, greeted the officer, and they both left. The door closed. We were there. Me, Karen, and Tasha. The silence was deafening. Karen looked at the envelopes on the console, picked them up, opened them, read every word, every line. When she finished, she lifted her eyes to me. There were tears, but I felt no pity. I felt relief. Karen whispered, "I'll call Ryan." She grabbed her phone, dialed, waited. He must have answered because she started talking fast, voice trembling. "Ryan, you need to come back. Now. Your mother. She's kicking me out. A court officer just came. I have 3 days, and there's more. A $60,000 claim. Your debt. Ryan, are you listening? You need to come back now." She listened to his reply. Her face changed. She repeated, "What do you mean you can't? Ryan, I need you here. Now." More silence. Then she hung up, looked at me. "He's coming back. He lands at 6 p.m., 2 hours. I said, "Fine, I'll wait." Tasha cleared her throat. "Kay, I have to go." Karen turned to her, almost begging. "Stay, please. I don't want to be alone here." Tasha looked at me. Looked at Karen, said uneasy, "I have to run. We'll talk later, okay?" And she left, fast. Karen stood there, alone in the middle of the living room, clutching the envelopes. I turned my back, went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table, and waited for Ryan to arrive. Ryan walked in at 6:07 p.m. I heard his car pull into the garage, heard the door slam, heard his quick steps along the side of the house. He came in through the kitchen door, the same one I'd used that morning to slip out. He wore a suit, tie loosened, briefcase under his arm, hair a mess. He saw me at the table, empty coffee cup in front of me, and stopped. We stared at each other. I don't know how long, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 20. It felt like a lifetime. He said, voice tired, "Mom, what did you do?" I didn't answer. Not right away. I let the silence sit there, heavy between us. Then I said, slowly, "What did I do?" "I took back my house, Ryan. My house. The one I paid for with my sweat. The one you told me I was living in for free." He closed his eyes, rubbed his face. "I never said that. Karen did. She didn't know." I stood. "Didn't know? She's lived here 6 months, Ryan. 6 months. And she never asked whose house it was. Never saw a bill. Never questioned anything. She knew. She just didn't care." Karen appeared behind him. Her eyes were swollen. She'd been crying. She held one of the envelopes. "Ryan, talk to her. Please. She can't do this to us." Ryan looked at her, looked at me, and I saw something break inside him. Something small, but beyond repair. He said to Karen without meeting her eyes, "Let me talk to my mother, alone." Karen opened her mouth to protest. He repeated, firmer, "Alone, Karen." She left, slammed the bedroom door. Ryan pulled out a chair, sat across from me, placed his hands on the table, fingers interlaced, took a deep breath. "Mom, I know I messed up. I know I disappointed you. The money, the $60,000. I wanted to pay you back. I swear I did. But the deal went under. I lost everything. And I was ashamed. Ashamed to tell you. So I kept putting it off, thinking I'd recover, that I'd figure something out. But I didn't." He stopped, looked at me. "And Karen, she's not evil, Mom. She gets grabby. She sees a house like this and thinks it's hers, that she deserves it. She was raised that way. But I should have set boundaries. I should have defended you. And I didn't. I abandoned you." I heard every word. Some hurt more than I expected. others less, but none of them changed anything. I said, "You're right. You abandoned me. You let her humiliate me, treat me like the help. Last night she told me to sleep in the maid's room, Ryan. The maid's room. And you weren't even here to see it. You're never here." Ryan lowered his head. "I know, and I'm sorry, truly. But Mom, we have nowhere to go. I don't have savings. I pay the rent on my office, her card bills, my expenses. There's barely anything left. If you kick me out now..." I raised my hand, cut him off. "I'm not kicking you out, Ryan. I'm kicking her out. You can stay, if you accept my conditions." He looked up. "What conditions?" I pulled a chair closer, sat again, looked at him, at my son, at the man I raised alone, and I said, "First, Karen leaves, today. No negotiation. I don't want her here another day. Second, you acknowledge the debt. You sign a payment agreement, $25 a month for the next 20 years. I know it doesn't cover what you owe me, but this isn't about the money. It's about you taking responsibility. Third, you apologize, publicly, in front of whoever's here. Not to please me, but because you need to look me in the eye and say you were wrong." Ryan went quiet, processing. I saw the battle inside him, pride against guilt, his love for Karen against his love for me. And in the end, he asked, "What if I don't accept?" I took a deep breath. "Then you leave with her, and I collect the full debt in court, $68,000 with interest. You'll have to sell everything you've got, and it still won't be enough." Silence. Long, painful silence. Ryan ran a hand through his hair, stared at the ceiling, then looked back at me. $25 a month for 20 years. That's $6,000. Not even 10% of what I owe you. I said, "I know. But it's not about how much. It's about you remembering every month for the next 20 years that you owe me, that you were wrong, and that even so, I let you stay." He closed his eyes, nodded slowly. "Okay, I accept. I'll sign the agreement. I'll apologize. But Mom, what about Karen? She has no family here, no money. Where will she go?" I looked toward the bedroom door. There was a muffled sound inside. Karen was crying or screaming. Hard to tell. I said, "That's her problem, not mine. She treated me like garbage, and now she can reap what she sowed." Ryan opened his mouth to argue, but I raised my hand again. "No, Ryan, don't try to convince me. She leaves. You stay. Those are the terms. Take them or leave them." He sat there, shattered. I saw in his eyes that he knew he'd lost, that there was no way out, that he'd reached the end of the line. He said low, "I accept." I took out my phone, called Julian, put it on speaker. When he answered, I said, "Julian, draft the agreement. $25 a month, 20 years, starting next month. Ryan will sign." Julian said, "Perfect. I'll email it now. He can print, sign, and send me a photo. Then I'll file it." I hung up. Ryan stood, went to the bedroom, opened the door. I heard muffled voices, an argument, Karen shouting, Ryan trying to calm her. Then silence. About 10 minutes later, Karen came out with a suitcase in hand, red face, swollen eyes, lips trembling. She passed me without looking, stopped at the front door, turned, faced me, and said, voice dripping venom, "You're a witch, a bitter witch who can't stand to see her son happy." I didn't answer. I just looked at her, steady, calm. She waited for a reaction. There wasn't one. So she left, slammed the door. I heard her car start, heard her pull away down the street. And that was that. Over. Ryan stood there in the living room, staring at the closed door. Then he looked at me, said, "She's going to stay at Tasha's for a few days until she finds a place." I said nothing, There was nothing left to say about Karen. Julian's email came 5 minutes later. Ryan printed it, read it, signed, took a photo, sent it back. And that was that. Simple, fast. 20 years of debt signed in 2 minutes. Ryan put a copy of the agreement in his folder, looked at me. The public apology. There's no one else here. I said, I know, but you're going to apologize anyway. Because I need to hear it, and you need to say it. He took a breath, came closer, stood while I sat. He looked me in the eyes and said, Mom, I'm sorry. Truly, I disappointed you. I abandoned you. I let her humiliate you. And I can't fix that overnight. But I'll try. Every month, when I pay you those $25, I'll remember what I did, and I'll try to be a better son. My throat tightened. My eyes burned. But I didn't cry. I just nodded. Ryan asked, Can I hug you? I thought about it. Thought about whether I wanted to, whether I was ready. And after a while, I said, Not yet. He nodded, understood. Went to the bedroom that was now his alone, closed the door, and I stayed there, alone in the living room of my house, my $500,000 house, my fortress, my refuge, which, finally, after months, was mine again. 3 months went by, 90 days since Karen walked out with a suitcase. 90 days since I took my house back, my life, my dignity. And in those 90 days, a lot changed. Some for the better. Others are still settling in, still finding their place. Ryan still lives here. But it's different. He keeps to his room, pays the bills we agreed on, and maintains a respectful distance. We haven't gone back to what we were. Maybe we never will. But we're building something new. On the 5th of every month, he transfers $25 to me. I see the notification on my phone. Ryan Foster sent you $25. And I know he sees it too. That he remembers. That it stings the way it needs to. It's not about the money. It never was. It's about him carrying the weight of what he did. Every month. For 20 years. On Sundays, he has coffee with me. We sit on the porch, drink hot coffee, eat buttered toast I make on the griddle, and talk. A little. Small things. His work, the weather, the garden that needs trimming. Nothing deep. Nothing that hurts. But it's something. It's a start. Some Sundays the silence is heavy. I look at him and see the boy he used to be. And it hurts. But some Sundays we laugh at something silly. And on those days, I feel that maybe, someday, we'll find a good place. Karen got married again, so I heard. It wasn't Ryan who told me. It was Tasha. She ran into me at the grocery store 2 weeks ago, apologized for everything, and told me. Karen met a businessman, 50-something, divorced, with money. They got married at the clerk's office after 3 months of dating. She posted a photo online, white dress, rose bouquet, wide smile. I looked at it, felt nothing, no anger, no pity, no satisfaction, just a quiet emptiness. She went on with her life. I went on with mine. But what I really want to tell you is about the little room, that 30-square-foot room where she told me to sleep, that place that smelled like mold and humiliation. I transformed it. Spent about $1,000 on a makeover, took out the old bed, painted the walls white, installed light wood shelves from floor to ceiling, bought 30 used books from a downtown bookstore, laid colorful floor cushions, and hung warm string lights from the ceiling. It became a library, small, tight, but beautiful. And more than that, it became a place to start over. I started teaching adult literacy classes for women in the neighborhood, for free. Every Saturday morning, from 8 to 10, 10 women, different ages. The youngest is 28, the oldest 67. Mrs. Celia, Rose, Jana, Fern, April, Lourdes, Vera, Sandra, Connie, and Beatrice, each with a story, each invisible to someone. Mrs. Celia worked her whole life as a housekeeper and never learned to read. Rose ran away at 14, had 5 kids, and now at 42 wants to read the notes her grandkids write. Jonna lost her mother young, and no one bothered to put her in school. Fern feels ashamed asking for help at the store to read labels. April signs her name with an X. All of them, in some way, were forgotten. We sit there, in that little room that used to be a prison and is now freedom, and I teach. I start with the alphabet, letter by letter, sound by sound. Some days are frustrating. Some days they stare at the letters and can't make sense of them. Some days they cry. But some days someone reads their first word alone, and those days are worth everything. Last week, Mrs. Celia read home, by herself, no help. She pieced the letters together, said it slowly. Whom? And when she realized she'd nailed it, she started to cry. We applauded, all of us. In that tight little space with old books and cushions on the floor, we celebrated. At the end of each class, I tell them something. Not a sermon, not a moral lesson, just truth. Truth I've learned. The other day I said, we only lose what's ours when we accept we don't deserve it. And Rose asked, what about when we stop accepting it? I smiled, answered, then we take it back, or we build it again. They got it, every one of them. People ask me why I do this, why I give up my Saturday mornings to teach people to read. The answer is simple, because I can. Because I have this house, this library, this space, and because staying stuck in bitterness builds nothing. Karen humiliated me. Broke me, but I won't let that humiliation define the rest of my life. I'm going to use it, turn it into something good, into something that matters. So today, when I look at the little room where she told me to sleep, I don't see humiliation. I see 10 women learning to read. I see Mrs. Celia sounding out home. I see Rose writing her grandkids' names for the first time. I see a fresh start. I see dignity. I see that you can take the worst day of your life and turn it into purpose. They sent me to the maid's room, wanted me to disappear, to fade, to become invisible. But you know what happened? I took that little room and turned it into the place where I'm rewriting my story, and the stories of 10 other women no one saw. Karen wanted to erase me. But you don't erase someone who built the house with her own hands. You don't erase someone who knows her worth. And you definitely don't erase someone who decided she deserves dignity. This house is still worth around $500,000, maybe more. But the real value isn't the money. It's what I do inside these walls. It's the space I occupy. It's the voice I reclaimed. Every Saturday morning, 10 women walk through my front door. Not the back door, not as the help, as students, as people, as human beings who matter. And when they leave, they take something with them, a new word, a sentence read, a certainty. They exist, they deserve, they can. And me, I'm finally at peace.